shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing.
Hi everybody, my name is David and I want to talk to you today about time management. Lord, please speak to us, show us how important it is to manage our time, the time you've given us, because you're coming soon. In Jesus' name, amen. Today, the power went out at my house. I've been working out of the house, it's been really windy. And so I had to decide how to use the time I had left on my phone and my laptop before they turned off, because they were going to turn off. I couldn't charge them. Thank God I was 100% at both of them, but it was just a matter of time. I only had so much time. And I had to make some decisions. So I managed my time, I prioritized my time, I made a list of what's important and what I had to get done today. I used my remaining time on my devices, my phone and my laptop, to address important emails, important texts, important calls. Then I used the rest of the time to study for this Wednesday night worship. And here is the product. I wasn't sure at the beginning what I was going to share about, and then the talk became time management. People ask sometimes for prayer for a better job to make more money. But more money isn't always the solution. Better money management is many times the solution. And so it is with time. Sometimes I say, man, I wish I had more time, but maybe the solution is better time management. That's why Paul tells us in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15, 16, and 17, be careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, or in the old King James Version, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be foolish, but understand, know what the Lord's will is. And so time management, how can personal time management help you? Let me tell you a few ways it can help you. Number one, it's going to help you eliminate wasted time, because we waste money and we waste time. Secondly, it's going to help you be prepared for your responsibilities, your projects, your goals. God has given all of us the same 24 hours to work with. And when I have things out of control in my life, I have to say the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So X amount of time, and my responsibilities can't change that. But the courage to change the things I can. What I can change is how I handle and manage the time, and the wisdom to know the difference. Personal time management is also going to help you designate appropriate time to a task's importance. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Make sure that important things get done while you eliminate the urgent things. And so there's a difference between urgent and important. What's the difference? Urgent things typically need to be handled now, but they have short-term consequences. Flat tire, ran out of milk, have to call this person back. Whereas important things are usually about a long-term matter in your life. Finishing your education or training so you can further or better your career or your ministry. Important thing in long-term things such as your health, exercising, seeing your doctor, eating right, working on relationships, your relationship with God, your spouse, your kids, sitting down and working out a financial budget so that you can save and get ahead. Many times these are important, but we put them on the back burner and we pay the price later. Time management is also going to help you ensure that these, number 4, long-term projects are not neglected. One example is my doctoral dissertation. I've been working on it, and I was given 5 years, and I thought, man, and that was the beginning of 2017, something like that. And then COVID happened, and then this happened, and then that happened. Next thing I know, I'm not finished, and I only have a year and a half left. And it's a good example of something that's important, but because it's long-term, we put it off. And then number 5, time management is going to help you start planning better and start having effective days, weeks, months, years, and an effective life. So here are some tips for effective time management. First of all, plan. Everybody say plan. And planning refers to spending time, investing time in organizing, creating a strategy. Using time to think and plan is time well spent. There's an old saying, and I'll say it because I'm old, failing to plan is planning to fail. And so under this would also be organize. Organize in a way that's best for you. Everybody has a different method to their madness. Pastor Mona plans our monthly financial budget. And her method is, I have to, anything I need, anything I'm going to be spending on, got to get it in by a certain date. And she comes up with the budget. Before a dollar's even spent in February, Pastor Mona already knows where it's going to go, what it's going to be spent on, how much is going to savings, what is going to be spent, reserves for emergencies that might come up, as well as what is going to be spent on fun time. I have to read a lot of books, watch a lot of videos, and in what I do, and especially at these times, and people will send me videos and I'll let them know, hey, I'll get to it eventually, but it might be a few months because I'm backed up, because I have to prioritize. But when I do have to read a book, nowadays on Audible, I buy a book, I have to read it, and I look at it and it says 10 hours. That's how long it's going to take to listen to it. And so I say to myself, okay, I'm going to dedicate half an hour every day. That's going to take me 20 days. I know in 3 weeks I'll have this book read. Whatever works for you, organize ahead of time. When I did construction under the tutelage of Brother Peter Regalado, he taught me something that has stuck with me for life, and it is this: measure twice, cut once. If you measure the wood 2 times, check yourself. That's good planning, that's good organization. You'll only have to cut once. And what does Davey do in his early 20s? He cuts once, he measures once, and what did I have to do? I had to cut twice because I didn't measure right the first time. And understand that wood is replaceable, time is not. And so we need to plan. We also need to set goals. Goals give your life Goals give your life direction, and goals help you see ahead of time how you're going to spend your time. And understand me, at the age of 53, I've learned this, that direction is more important than speed. Okay, so goals are going to give your life direction. And let me tell you 3 things about goals. Set goals that are specific, set goals that are achievable, and set goals that are measurable. This is all going to help you in your time management. So if you say, I want to lose weight, that's not specific. I want to lose 5 pounds. Make sure your goal is achievable. Don't say, I want to lose 500 pounds in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. Okay? But if you say, I want to lose 5 pounds, well, that's achievable, and make sure it's measurable. I want to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks. That's all measurable. Make sure your goals are specific, achievable, and measurable, because your optimum goals, the best goals that you can set, are those goals that are going to cause you to stretch but not break. Also, use the tools that we have today. Use your phone, use a calendar, use a to-do list. Take the time, invest the time to learn all the tools that are on your phone and use them, the reminders, the notes, the calendars, the alarms, etc. The next thing you can do is prioritize. We all have urgent and important matters in our lives that will consume our time. The key to it is prioritizing, applying your time in such a way to projects, listen to this, that are going to bring the most reward and benefit to your life. So let's just say you say, I want to stream a show, I want to spend time with my family, I want to exercise, I want to do homework. They're all good things. Some are work, some are play. We need these things. But ask yourself this, which is going to bring the most reward to my life, to my relationship with God, to my relationship with my family? And it doesn't mean you just have to do one. Do them, but do them in the order that's going to bring you the most reward and benefit to your life. Also, be flexible. Allow time for interruptions and distractions. We get frustrated because something came up. Guess what? Until Jesus comes, something's always going to come up. So Pastor Tommy Barnett, a guru of pastoral mentorship, taught as a pastor, he would always plan 80% of his day, 80% of his week. And with only 80% of your time planned, you'll have the flexibility to handle interruptions and those unplanned emergencies. And listen, when you expect to be interrupted, and we all have times in our lives where we know interruption is going to come, there's a good chance, that's the good time to schedule those things that are routine. You could do it without even thinking, urgent things, but when you know you can get a good solid block of solitude in, that's a good time to schedule the important things. One of the most crucial questions you can ask yourself in time management is this: what is the most important thing I can do with my time right now? Also, know your biological prime time. We're all different. Some of you are morning people. I see it when we were indoors. Who's a morning person, who's not a morning person. Some of you are afternoon people, some of you are night owls. So schedule the important things during your prime time and those not so important urgent things when you're not at your best, when you're not completely focused, when you're not in your prime time zone. A few more, listen to this. Do the right thing right. When you do the right thing right, you save time. Peter Drucker, a guru in leadership, says, doing the right thing is more important than doing things right. And he explains it. Doing the right thing is effectiveness, while doing things right is efficiency. So focus first on effectiveness, identifying what is the right thing to do right now, then concentrate on doing it well, on efficiency. Listen, we all have, listen to this term, important competing priorities, okay? We all have very important competing priorities in our lives. Once again, we got to ask ourselves this question: what is the right thing to do right now? And remember Paul's words that we read, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Know what the right thing to do is right now at the right time. Also, avoid perfectionism and procrastination. Two ends of the perspective of the, I forget the word, two ends. Listen, not everything needs to be perfect. Sometimes we take a sincere, genuine, true, godly approach and care in the quality of what we do, And at other times, we want things to be perfect because, bear with me here, let me preach to you, because sometimes perfectionism just covers up underlying personal issues that we have. But I want to remind everybody that perfectionism has to do with what you do, not with who you are. And if you've accepted Christ into your heart, here's the good news. You're perfect, okay? So make things perfect when you can, but when you're short of time, perfect will slow you down. Procrastination is putting something off that needs to be done and putting it off for a later time. And most times, listen, procrastination only does damage. We regret it later. Fear, a sense of incompetency. We don't feel competent enough. Fear, incompetence, and laziness are sometimes the cause of that procrastination. One of the things I've learned, because I was a procrastinator, and I learned this from my wife, is to break it up into smaller pieces. I've told this story before, just before I give you the last tool for time management. I was dating Mona, 1984. I'm 17, she's 18, 19. And we're dating, I'm already working, driving, and my dad had been telling me all week, clean your room, clean your room. You're not gonna go out this weekend unless you clean your room. I didn't clean it, and I'm walking out, and he says, where are you going? I says, I'm going out with Mona. He says, no, you're not, you're gonna clean your room. And I have to call her in front of my dad and say, I can't go out with you because I have to clean my room. Well, I don't know why, if she really wanted to come and help me or she just wanted to check if I wasn't going out with sister so-and-so, but she showed up at the house. And hi pastor, is David here? Yeah, he's in his room. She comes in, and there I am, sitting, looking at everything, like if I stare at it long enough, it's just gonna get done. And she says, what are you doing? I said, I told you, I've gotta clean my room before we go out. And she says, really? I says, yeah. So she comes up and she says, okay, can I help? I says, yeah. And I thought that meant she was gonna do it. What she did is she says, okay, get all your socks. I said, all right, I got all my socks. She says, get all your shoes. I got all my shoes. She says, get all your clothes. I got all my clothes, put it in the hamper. She says, get all your dirty plates. I says, got all my dirty plates. She says, make the bed. She just gave me piece by piece what to do. We got it, and the next thing I know, we're at Arby's having our date. So listen, piece by piece will help you break the power of procrastination. And the last one, learn to say no. And you will learn to say no more often when these two things happen in your life. You get on a schedule and know, and really know, that your time is valuable and limited. And the second thing will happen, you'll learn to say no when you prioritize and truly believe, know and believe that the important people and goals in your life are truly important. Matthew 25 tells us the story of the talents. After a long while, the master came back and asked for an account of what he had given his servants. And I want you to know that one day, an account for our time, one day we will give an account to God for our time and our time management. I want you to know, listen to this, that Jesus is coming soon. So don't put off completely surrendering your life to Jesus, because you know what? You might not have the time you think you have. I've also talked to you today about personal time management, but as we close, what about spiritual time management? Where in your schedule, where in your priorities, where in your life is those important things like praying, reading, speaking to that person about Jesus that God has been dealing with you about, asking that person for forgiveness, forgiving that person, volunteering at your church, setting up a financial budget in your life so that you can truly help advance the kingdom of God. Brother, sister, your life may be right with God. And we say all the time, I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. But if we haven't finished the tasks with the time God has given us, we might not be as ready as we think we are. So brother, sister, you're going to heaven, but don't put it off, because one day we're going to give an account to God for the time He gave us to accomplish the tasks He gave us. And you might not have the time you think you have. So as we close, be careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Brother, sister, when I was younger, there was something called timeout. And we would call timeout the clock would stop if we were playing a game, and then we would jump back in. Time in. You know what? There's no timeout. As an adult, when you're serving God in the middle of the season, there's no timeout. So do what you have to do now. Manage your time in such a way it's going to honor and glorify the Lord. Blessings upon you.